We're good.
All right.
Parents, you're gonna be glad you didn't miss this one because we are going to be talking about, does your athlete have a fear-based mindset or a faith-based mindset? It determines everything. It determines how they try new things, if they try new things or not. It determines if they're willing to go for it or to hold back. We have 3 people up here that have had our share of fears, that have overcome our own fear mentalities and now operate more on faith. And our goal with this Facebook Live is to help your student athletes identify, number 1, if they have a fear or faith-based mindset, and then number 2, help them shift. Because if they have a fear-based mindset and everything is, they look at sports through the lens of, I don't want to mess up. I really don't want to disappoint anyone. I really hope I don't fail. If that's the lens through which they're seeing reality all the time, then their results are going to ultimately be subpar, substandard to what they could be. So the way that we'll do this is whoever's in the middle gets to talk. So Coach Eric will come in the middle. He'll share his tidbits on faith versus fear. Coach Travis will do the same. And guys, I really, really do hope that you share this video with your athlete because fear is what will cripple all of us. It'll keep your kid from reaching their full potential. Fear is not fun. We all have them, but how do we overcome it with a faith mentality? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right.
So, guys, my big thing on this, guys, is if your athlete is allowing fear to come into their mind prior to trying something new, maybe it be a competition, a tryout, applying for a school, that fear is going to creep into their mind and it's going to poison all that positivity. Right? As we know, the things that happen up in our mind have a really good way of showing up in the way that we present ourselves to the world. So already beginning with that thought of fear in your mind is going to set you up for a higher chance of failure in the future. In reality, faith is the lens in which we can see all of the meaning in life. So if they go into things with faith in mind rather than fear, win or lose, pass or fail, they're going to be able to find that meaning in the moment rather than just crumble under that fear.
Can you talk to the kid that is scared a lot of the time? Can you talk directly, because his parents are going to show this to their kids, talk directly to that kid that is scared to try new things, to go for it, to talk to the girl, to raise their hand, to whatever it is that's holding them back. Talk directly to that kid.
Okay, so imagine it this way. If you're afraid to talk to the girl, slide in the DMs, whatever you want to call it, or afraid to try out for that team because you're afraid you might not make it, or you're afraid to apply to that school because you might not get in, what if you don't? What happens if you don't, right? If you don't, you go back to the way you were, but equipped with more knowledge than you had before, because failure is the best teacher that we have. If you're afraid of failure, then you're not going to actually step out of your comfort zone and achieve anything. But if you have faith that even if you fail, you'll find meaning in that moment of failure, then you're going to be able to proceed confidently and with more knowledge and strength than before.
Right? Guys, what he just said about failure being the best teacher, we need more coaches out there who are going to present this to the athletes in the way that Coach Eric just did. Because if every student athlete just heard what he just said, they would see fear and they would see failure through a different lens. And that's why we talk about it in here all the time. Mindset is the key. What happens up in the mind is what athletes need to unlock the most. Otherwise, they'll be stuck in a fear mindset forever, and failure will dominate them. So that was awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Eric.
You're welcome.
In this middle.
Boom.
So,
to the left.
speaking directly to the athlete that's suffering from fear, I mean, fear and discomfort, no matter how big you grow, that's going to be present, all right? And my challenge is when you find those areas that you're a little afraid to jump out of your comfort zone and start something new. For me, it was starting a sport in college. I picked up rugby as a sophomore in college. I was afraid I was going to go out there and look dumb. So it held me back my first couple practices. But as I got comfortable and understand it's okay to start small. Often we have a fear of starting small that holds us back from taking that big jump. We wait for an experience level. We wait for an age. We wait for a certain grade. Whatever it might be, wait until you're a junior before you can lead the freshman. Right? My challenge for you guys is have faith in starting small. Start with leading yourself. Then maybe you have a friend. Then maybe another teammate. And then watch that pick up momentum and you're really going to start having some serious impact within your team. Another time is when I was in high school, I was the introverted kid because I'm this loud, goofy person, but I had a fear that if I acted loud and goofy when people didn't really know me, they weren't going to like me that much. Right? I didn't have faith if I was who I was meant to be, people would accept me. And it took me till later of college and after college working at PFP to really discern it's okay to be that loud, goofy person. And now I think that's one of my biggest strengths that I have. So for the athlete that has these fears of waiting for validation or maybe trying to fit in and conform, my challenge for you guys is have faith that you're that goofy person for a reason. Have faith that it's okay to start small, that's where everybody started. Michael Jordan at one point couldn't dribble with his left hand. So have faith that starting small and making those mistakes, that's okay because that's where you're going to learn the most. My challenge for you guys, fail forward and fail often. And understand that's going to be the biggest path to growth that you can take.
Nice. I got one thing to share. Kobe Bryant story. I know everyone's going to want to hear this. If you're a kid who has feared messing up and making mistakes, and it's kept you from trying new things, let's say on the court or let's say on the field, and you've held back because you're like, I don't know if I can do this skill in a game. I don't know if I can do this move in a game. So therefore, I'm just going to stick to what I'm comfortable with. I'm going to stick to my strengths, avoid my weaknesses. If that's you, I want to share with you Kobe Bryant's story. When he was 13 years old, he was not in the top 100 players in the country. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, shoot, if I was in the top 1,000, that'd be great. Kobe Bryant, that wasn't okay for him. He wasn't in the top 100, 13-year-old, getting ready to go into high school. And he was asked why it took him so long to crack into that top 100 and to become the best in the world. At 13 years old, he was purposefully not sticking to his strengths in games, in big-time situations. He was working on his weaknesses in games. He was working on his left hand. He was working on driving to his left. He was working on all the things that he wasn't good at in games. And that resulted in embarrassment. It resulted in his coach pulling him at times. It resulted in the people who were on his team saying, Kobe, come on, man. You got to play to your strengths. He said, no, I've got a bigger vision for my life. I have a bigger vision that includes faith. So what he did, guys, over the years, 5 years, he worked on his weaknesses and he got out of his comfort zone. That's another thing. Faith requires getting out of your comfort zone. Kobe got out of his comfort zone every single practice. By the time he was 18, this is what he said. He said, by the time I turned 18 years old, my senior year in college, all the kids that I was playing with in AAU, all of them, they were still good at the same things they were always good at. And they were not much better than they were at 13 years old. But me, by that time, I was the top player in the country. I had developed a full, well-rounded approach to basketball. And that's a great story, but it just highlights this mentality right here, guys, because fear of failing, guys, if Thomas Edison had the fear of failure and it crippled him, we would not be in here right now. There would not be light bulbs. He did not fail, guys. He just figured out 999 ways not to do the light bulb. So every time you fail, guys, you're just figuring out ways not to do it. Eric said, you gain knowledge. I mean, failure's the best teacher, and that's just one of many fears. So tune back in next week on Facebook Live, and every week, guys, come back and watch these videos because we will dive into all the other fears. We just hit really just one. Fear of failure, fear of embarrassment. Guys, you got anything to close out on? That was awesome.
I was actually going to give that same Thomas Edison story that you did. So
You want to say it again?
no.
Guys, thanks for watching. Go out and crush your day. Dominate it with faith, faith, faith. Overcome your fears. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.